Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you how I made this reversible pinafore dress. It is one dress you can wear in both ways. You can wear it inside out. I know this is something you would like to know more about. Please keep on watching and let's get started. Guys, if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment and like my video. Thank you. For this dress, you need 1.5 yards of two different Ankara fabric. If you're on the small size, 1.5 yards is enough of two different Ankara. But if you're on the big side, you can use 2 yards of two different Ankara. So 2 yards of each Ankara fabric that you'll be mixing together. And this style is something that you can wear in both ways. Like I said earlier, it is a reversible pinafore that you can wear it in both ways. Another thing you'll be needing for this dress is an invisible zip. The first thing you have to determine is the full length of this dress. So depending on the length you want, determine the full length and minus your half length from the full length. Whatever you get after deducting your half length from your full length is what you use for the skirt part. That will be the length of the skirt part. I hope you get what I mean. My paper is on fold because of the style of the skirt. So this paper I have here is on fold, and the first thing I did here is to mark a line across the paper, and that will be the starting line. The next thing I'll do is to mark from the waist to the full length of the skirt. I'm using 19 inches here. If you don't want yours to be as short as mine, you need to increase the length of the skirt. The next thing is to mark the waist to the hip line. For my waist to hip line is 10 inches, and that is what I'm marking here. After marking, I'll connect with a ruler and then I'll label each line, the waistline, the hip line and the full length of the skirt. The next thing I want to do now is to go in with the waist measurement. The waist measurement divided by 4. I'll mark it there. This skirt I'm drafting, there won't be that on it. So there won't be that on the skirt. Then I'll go over and mark the hip measurement. The hip measurement divided by 4. Then on the knee line, whatever I get as my hip measurement, I'll deduct 1 from it, and that is what I used at the full length of the skirt. Now I'm connecting the points together with my curved ruler. The next thing I want to do now is to add my allowance to it. I'm adding 1 inch allowance to this skirt. So I'm adding my allowance to it and I'll connect with the curved ruler. At the hem of the skirt, I'll also add 1/2 inch allowance to this pattern. I'm adding 1/2 inch allowance now and I'll connect it with a ruler. Once I'm done, I'll cut it out. The next thing I'll do now is to use this front pattern to cut out the back of the skirt. The only difference is that I'll be adding zip allowance. So once I have the pattern on the fabric, my fabric is folded into 2. I'll mark my 1.5 inches zip allowance there. Once I'm done marking, I'll cut it out. Because we are mixing the fabric, we are using 2 different types of Ankara. I'll cut 2 pieces from this fabric and I'll also be cutting out 2 pieces from the other Ankara fabric. I have also cut out the other 2 pieces for the other Ankara fabric. So we have 4 pieces for the back. The next thing I'll do now is to bring back the front pattern so that I can work on the front of the skirt. What I'll do now is to extend that hip line to the other side of the paper. And if you look at the video well, you'll see that the front part has an overlap. The design in front is an overlap. So now what I'll do now is that from the hip line, I'll try and make a curve from that hip line to the center of the skirt. From the hip line, I'll make a curve to the center of the skirt. I don't need this part. I'm making a sign on. I'll cut it out. But before I cut it out, I'll transfer this skirt pattern I have here to another paper. but you want to make sure that this other pattern you are bringing in is like 4 inches longer than the length of the skirt you have in the previous paper. You want to make sure that it's like 4 or 5 inches longer. When you look at the video closely, you'll see that one part of the skirt in front is longer than the other side. So you want to make sure that this pattern paper you are bringing in is like 4 inches or 5 inches longer than your skirt length. And the pattern paper has to be unfolded also. So this is me making sure that what I have, the length I have here is 4 inches longer than the length of my skirt. And what I'll do next is to place the skirt pattern on the new paper and trace it out. Once I have the new pattern cut out like so, what I want to do next is that this other part I said I won't be needing, I'll cut it out. After cutting, I'll place this new pattern paper I cut out, I'll place it on the skirt pattern like this. From the top of the skirt, I'll mark a straight line that goes all the way to the center of the hem. Just like I placed my ruler, I'll mark a straight line from that top up to the center of the hem. I am cutting out that part out now, and I will transfer the patterns to fabric. Because we have 2 pieces for the front, you have to make sure that you cut out 1 piece for each of the Ankara. After cutting, you will have 4 pieces for the front. I have transferred the front pattern to fabric, and this is what we have. Like I said earlier, we'll be having 4 pieces by the time we transfer to fabric, and this is it now. The next thing I'll do is to place the Ankara on each other, right sides facing each other, and I'll go over and stitch the hem. But I'll make sure that I have the 2 different Ankara on both sides. Make sure that you don't have the same Ankara facing each other. I'm bringing back the back piece now so that we can also work on the back. What I want to do to the back is just to go ahead and stitch the hem. You close the down part of the skirt for the back piece. You have to make sure that you have 2 different Ankara facing each other. Just like I explained with the front, make sure that the 2 different Ankara are facing each other, right sides facing each other, then close the hem. This is the front part of the skirt, and I have closed the hem. Just like I said, I went ahead to close the down part of the skirt, and this is what it is looking like. The only part of this skirt that is closed is the down part. All other sides are still open. I did the same thing to the back. I only closed the hem. Every other side of the skirt is still open. For the upper part of this dress, you need your half length measurements. My half length measurement is 16. For both the front and the back, that means I'll be having 32 inches. So I went ahead to cut out a long piece of fabric of 32 inches, but I added 1 inch allowance for stitching. And I cut out 4 pieces, 2 pieces from each of the Ankara. The width I cut out is 4.5 inches. I'll use half inch to join on both sides. I'll go ahead and stitch the sides, but make sure that you have the different Ankara facing each other. The next thing we are going to do now is to fix it on the skirt. I have the front part of the skirt here first. I will fix it to the front before fixing it to the back. So what you want to do is that from the center of the skirt, from the midpoint, you mark 2 inches out on both sides. Then you place each one on the 2 inches mark you made. But you want to make sure that the Ankara that is facing the skirt is the same thing as the one you have on the strap. You are going to do it in a way that you use the other part of the skirt to close the strap in. I have fixed the strap to the front part, and this is what we have. You can see that the other part of the front is still separate. What you only need to do here is just to make a top stitch to join it together, to join the front pieces together. You only need to make a top stitch. The next thing now is to fix the strap to the back. The same way we fixed it to the front by marking 2 inches from the center point on both sides is what we are going to do to the back also. Don't also forget that there is zip allowance on the back. So what I'm doing here is that I'm placing my zip allowance on each other so that I can get the center of the back. Then from the center, I'll mark 2 inches out on both sides. That is where I'll fix the strap on. Another thing is to make sure that the parts of the strap facing the Ankara must be the same on the strap and on the Ankara fabric. Make sure that the parts facing each other are the same. I am marking the 2 inches now, and once I'm done marking, I'll go over to the sewing machine and stitch it in place. Then I'll bring it back and show you. I'm done fixing the strap, and I want to show you here that I didn't stitch up to the ends. I left that place open on both sides because of the inseam finishing that we'll be doing for this dress. The next thing is to go over to the sewing machine and fix the zip. I'll show you the process of fixing the zip, but first I'll attach the zip to one side of the Ankara and I'll bring it back and show you. I have fixed the zip to one side of the Ankara and this is what we have. I'll turn it inside out and I'll show you something there. Remember, I didn't finish closing the upper part, so this is what I'll go over to the sewing machine now and close it. So I'll be closing it together with a zip to secure the upper part there at the center back. This is after closing the part I showed you earlier, and this is what it is looking like. I'll turn it out now, and what I want to do next is to finish closing the zip. I'll go in from the side now and bring out the zip part from the side. I'll bring it out. If you are familiar with inseam finishing, you'll find this part easy, but if you are not, you just need to watch what I'm doing closely and you will get it. Remember that I only attached the zip to one side of the Ankara. Now I will just attach it to the other side of the Ankara and follow that line on the other side of the fabric that I already made earlier. I don't know if you get what I mean. I'll go over it again. I'll go in from the side and bring out the zip like you see me doing. Once I bring out the zip, I'll follow that line I made on the other side of the fabric earlier, and I'll close the zip up onto that point. This is it after I was done, and you can see that it is looking neat. You can wear it on both sides, and that is why I used an invisible zip for this dress. The next thing now is to go ahead and join the side. To join the side, you have to be really patient because it's not the easiest thing to do, but you can do it. So what you want to do is just to use one piece of the back to cover the front. Like you use one piece of the back and use it to cover the front and close it that way. That is just what you want to do. I'll go over to the sewing machine now and do it, then I'll show you so that you can understand better what I mean by that. You only have to be patient when you're closing it. Then you won't stitch up until the end. You leave a space of about 2 inches at the end so that you can easily turn it inside out by the time you do the other side. I have closed the side I showed you earlier, and this is what it is looking like. You can see that I didn't stitch up until the end. I have a space there, so I'm just going to fold it in to close that part. I'm just going to fold it in like this and close that part, but I'm not going to close it yet till I stitch the other side of the dress. It is after I finish stitching that part that I will now top stitch on this part and secure it close. For this other side, I'm just going to do the same thing I did to the other side. I'll use the back to turn it over and stitch it. This is it after I was done, and like I said earlier, you need to be patient enough to close this part. And this is the part where I turned it inside out. I've gone ahead to make a top stitch there. I have also gone ahead to iron it properly, and that is why it is looking nice and flat. You can wear it inside out, and that is the beauty of this dress. You can wear it in both ways. Would you be recreating this dress? Let me know in the comment section. And if you have any style you want me to make a video on, please put it in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your notification bell so that you can get notified anytime I upload a new video. Please follow me on my Instagram handle at stitchedbyst. Thank you guys for your support on my channel, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.